Good morning, everyone. So it is rare that I say that I'm in love with the IRS. I think I'm more in love with the appeals court, but why am I in love with the IRS? Now, today we are talking about deductions. What are you able to deduct if you have a business? There are really three main pieces to being able to deduct something. The deduction has to be reasonable, it has to be ordinary, and it has to be necessary. So reasonable, ordinary, and necessary. So I want to go over three of my favorite court cases ever that got approved by the appeals court of overriding the IRS. Okay. Now, the first one is about deducting your dogs. Everyone wants to know, of course, we get deductions for our children. My dogs are my kids. Why can't I write off my dogs? Okay. You can absolutely write off your dogs in multiple different ways, but some of the most common are going to be as medical service animals. So for trauma, for, detecting diabetes, like these high blood sugar, these kinds of things. So absolutely as a medical dog, that has been approved and approved by the IRS multiple times over. So if you have a medically trained dog, you can absolutely write that off as a medical expense. Now, when I say write that off, to be clear, I mean food, training, collars, dog bowls, grooming, like everything related to that dog can be written off. Now, one of the other ways that we see this, and I use this most frequently, as security. Okay, so there are some very specific rules if you're going to be writing off the dog for security. The dog at its shoulder must be taller than the height of your knee. It does need to have training. Now, that court case was very broad on training. It does not specify, for example, Schutzhund. So we understand it to be sit, stay, come, basic training. And it does need to come with you or be in a place where you are conducting business, okay, and providing some sort of security. So, for example, if you have German Shepherds, which I do, if you have German Shepherds and you have clients that come to your home for business purposes, they would be considered security. Okay. If you own, one of the most common examples is if you own, for example, a construction yard and you have a dog on the premises guarding the property, right? Roaming around the property to make sure nobody's breaking in at night, these kinds of things. The dog is, of course, deductible as security. Now, you do want to make sure that you have a clear and direct and specific business purpose, right? Ordinary, so in your line of business, is it ordinary that your dog is security or is medical or is advertising? Right now, we are seeing that's the third category, third type. We are seeing a lot of people who are using their dogs in their videos to boost YouTube, TikTok engagement, these kinds of things. If you can prove, right, ordinary, necessary, and reasonable, if you can prove that your dog in that TikTok video has actually gained you a client that has paid you money, you are able to deduct that dog as part of advertising and marketing. Okay, so these are the background details that you really want to make sure of, especially when you're looking at dogs, because we've seen people try to write off a Shih Tzu. They're too small. They're certainly not security. They might qualify for the YouTube write-off, but you really, really need to be able to prove that you're making income from these types of deductions. Now, talking about making income, we move to the next one. And this is one of the most famous court cases out there. So there was a professional dancer who got some extra enhancements to be able to earn more money, earn more tips while she was dancing. Now, the IRS originally disallowed her deduction of her implants. For her, the implants, the IRS said that is not ordinary, it's not necessary, and it's not reasonable. However, the IRS appeals did override the IRS's original review. So this particular case, the professional dancer was able to deduct her implants because the Court of Appeals said, listen, IRS, you're making more money. If she makes more money, you make more money. Okay, so you're making more money because of her enhancements. We are overriding this for her industry. This is absolutely ordinary, necessary, and reasonable. Those three things. And she's paying you more money. So absolutely a deduction. Now, the third one you see here is yet again another court case. Voodoo, okay, is voodoo practitioners and voodoo dolls and these kinds of things. Are they considered deductible? Now, I do have to say, this particular court case, the voodoo court case, absolutely sticks in my mind as a strategist, it is, in my mind, what absolutely ties in whether something is ordinary, necessary, and reasonable, okay? In the court case, the deductions for the supplies, the straw and the string and whatever else the Voodoo practitioner was utilizing, the IRS said, no, these are religious materials. They are not deductible for that business. But in this case, the Voodoo practitioner was running a business. They were earning income. They were making a profit every year. So these were deductible items for the Voodoo practitioner because they were using them ordinary, necessary, and reasonable, right? They weren't spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and only making $5,000 worth of income. So guys, the reason why I bring up these three cases is because anything can be deductible as long as it meets those 3+1 qualifications. So reasonable, ordinary, necessary, and really, guys, you need to be making a profit, okay? You have to have a profit motive. Making profit can be a discussion, and maybe we'll save that for another video. So if you are looking to deduct something and your CPA is telling you, no, that's not deductible, reach out to Tax Goddess. We are tax strategists. This is what we do. You guys know that we work on an aggression scale, 0 to 10, 0 meaning the IRS never calls you never ever, and 10 meaning we're all going to jail. We will not go past an 8, but that means it's legal, ordinary, necessary, reasonable, and you're making a little bit of money. All right. So if you are looking to deduct something and your CPA is saying, absolutely no way, reach out to Tax Goddess. We'd love to help you and see if we can come up with a good, above board legal way for you to deduct what it is you want to deduct. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.